Hi, welcome to NicheCraft. My name is Kassi and I'm your host, and today I am going to teach you how to make this beautiful pattern which I call flowers in a row. Now some people call this a tulip stitch and it's been called other things, but I've just decided to call it flowers in a row because that's what it looks like. And for to me these look like little rosebuds. So anyway, what you will need to make this is a background color, okay? And I've chosen this white, okay? And then you'll need a color for the leaves. Probably a green color would be the best idea, but you can use whatever you like. And then a color for the flowers. And I want to show you that this, while it doesn't look exactly the same on each side, it is pretty much reversible, okay? Because see, you have this line right here on this side, right? But it doesn't look bad or anything, right? And then on this side, it goes up to a kind of like a little point right here. So I want to show you what I use to make this swatch, okay? I'm gonna zoom out so you can see. This is a NicheCraft exclusive, and it's called Dune, okay? And let me just hold that up a little bit, okay? And what I'm doing is I'm using the white in this color, and then the green in this color, right? And you might notice that my flowers are a little bit different colors. That's because I'm using this, also a NicheCraft exclusive. This is made by the same company, which is Knitology. And this one's called Sunset, okay? And it's got this from light pink to dark pink. And so I really wanted to just make the flowers a gradient, okay, throughout my blanket. Now, speaking of blankets, this is the kind of stitch that will make an heirloom, okay? If you want to make something that will stick with your family for a really, really long time, I would suggest making something like this in a queen size or maybe even a king size, because this is such a beautiful stitch. But you don't have to use this real high-end yarn, okay? You can use, you can use Red Heart and use my tip to make it really soft by using liquid fabric softener in the wash. You could use any kind of yarn you like. I just happened to get a whole bunch of this NicheCraft yarn, and I got it on sale, okay? And I ended up deciding that this is what I was going to use for it. Okay, now I don't know if you can tell here, but this first flower color is this lightest pink, okay? And then the second flower color right here is the second lightest pink, okay? And what I did when I made this one is that I made it with a size H hook, okay? And I wanted to see what it would look like if I made it with an I hook. I just want to see what the difference is in gauge before I decide to actually commit. So what I'm going to be doing, my cat just jumped up here. Do you want to be a YouTube cat, baby? Look, say hi. Oh, hi. Hi, everybody. I want to be a YouTube cat. Okay. He's like, don't put me down. Don't put me down. Okay. So what I'm going to be using for this tutorial is I'm going to be using, I've caked up this green yarn, okay? And I'm going to use the white yarn that I was telling you guys about, okay? And then I'm going to use the two darker colors just so I can see what it looks like as well. Because I just, since I'm just making a swatch, it's good to just play around with the colors and see how it looks. Okay, guys? So go ahead and either get your yarn together and a crochet hook that is familiar to you, it's comfortable to you, and learn to stitch along with me, or you can just use one color to learn the stitch and then purchase the actual yarn later on, okay? It's just a nice thing to have under your belt, right? And again, I would recommend this for blankets. It would also make beautiful pillows, pillowcases, so just kind of keep that in mind as far as what you can do with this. All right, on to the tutorial. Hi, okay. So to make this pattern, you're going to do a stitch multiple of 3 plus 2. This swatch was done with 23 stitches, so that would have been 21 plus 2 is 23. And you'll find that your multiple of 3 is going to be how many flowers that you have. Okay, so for example, I did 3 times 7, which is 21. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 flowers. Okay, all right. So to do my second swatch with the bigger hook, I'm going to make a slip knot, and I am going to chain 23. I will see you when I'm done with my chain. All right, so I have my multiple of 3 plus 2, which is 23 stitches, and I want to show you in this one how in between each row I have 2 rows. Okay, so what you can do here is you can pick however many rows you want in between these flowers, but it's got to be a multiple of 2. Okay, so if you're going to do 2 rows, that's fine. If you want to do 4, that's fine. And just know that it's got to be a multiple of 2 in between each one of these flowers. Okay, all right, so I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. So we are going to be making this 2 rows. All right, so row 1, you're going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then single crochet across. Let me zoom in so you guys can see really well what I'm doing here. So I'm going to identify, excuse me, you're having something to point with. I'm going to identify the second chain from the hook. All right, it's right there. And I am going to single crochet by putting my hook in there and pulling up a loop and then pulling through 2, just like that. And I'm going to single crochet across until I reach the end. All right, so continue single crocheting in every single stitch until you reach the end. I will see you there. All right, welcome back, guys. If your sample is curling, that is just fine. It tends to happen with single crochets. So what you will have is a single crochet all the way across, and what we're going to do now is we are going to just chain 1. This is our turning chain, and for row 2 we are going to do the exact same thing. We are going to single crochet in each stitch all the way across. So when we reach the end, that's when we are going to be switching to green. Okay, so I will see you there. Okay guys, so I'm back and I have single crocheted in every single crochet except the very last one, because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to switch to green. So I have my green yarn right here, and at this point you can make a decision. Either you can cut the white, okay, and just go ahead and just tie a knot, or however you like to secure this, okay, or you can keep the white attached, because you remember how I said that the multiple of 2 was important. Well, if you keep the white attached, then you can just pull it up with you every single time you start a new row. So to attach the green, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert my hook into that last stitch, okay? But instead of picking up the white, I'm going to pick up the green, okay? So the green is now attached. I'm going to pull up a loop through there. This is going to be the green one, okay? And then the working end, okay, this tail end, don't have to worry about that. With the working end, of course, I'm going to pull that through here, and now I am ready to go for the next row, which is these these leaves, okay? All right. So row 3, we are going to start by chaining 3, okay? 1, 2, 3. Alrighty, and we are going to turn. Now, the first thing that we're going to do, okay, is we're going to skip 1 stitch. That'll be that first one that is, or that first one from this perspective, or the last one we made that is white, okay? We're going to skip that one, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a V-stitch into the second chain right there. All right, so what that means is we are going to do a double crochet, okay? And then we are going to chain one, and then put another double crochet into that same stitch, okay? And so right here in between this is where we're going to put our flowers, is in that chain space of that V-stitch, okay? So to continue on, what we're going to do is we're going to skip 2 this time, and we're going to make a V-stitch again. Chain 1 and put another double crochet into that same stitch, okay? So we're putting a double crochet into a stitch, chaining 1, and then putting another double crochet into that same stitch, okay? Now we are going to skip 2 again, and we're going to make that V-stitch again. All right, double crochet, chain 1, and double crochet. All right, so we are going to continue doing this until we reach the end of this row, okay? I'll see you then. Okay, so this is what your swatch should look like when you are almost done with row 3. Now the very last stitch in row 3, you'll have one remaining stitch, is going to be a double crochet. All right, so we're going to pull that through, and now we are going to switch to the flower color, okay? So let me zoom out a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this pink through the first 2 loops and then pull it through again. I'm going to let that tail just hang down there. Okay. All right, and I'm going to just give that tail a little tug. Give that green a little tug, and we are ready for row 4. Now at this point, you're going to have to make a decision on what you're going to do about these strings, okay? What I'm going to do for mine is that I am going to do a 2 single crochet all the way around the blanket. So when I get to the end right here for this, I'm going to go ahead and go over these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie these together real tight and make a knot. Okay, let me get my scissors here so I can show you exactly how I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm going to tie these real tight here and make a knot. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet over that when I come back and I do my border. And this is when I'm going to actually make the blanket. This is just a swatch, but I want to show you exactly how I'm going to be doing this. Now you see how that knot is really small right there? Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut really, really close to that knot. Now you can do this the way, however way you like the best, but I trust my knots to stay. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do that. All right, so we are at row 4. So we have just added our pink, okay? Oops. So we have just added our pink, and we are about to start row 4. Now, of course, you can add whatever color you want to for the flowers. I'm just going with pink myself. All right, you are going to chain 2 and turn. Okay. Okay, so once you've chained 2 and turned, what you're going to do is you're going to double crochet either 3 together or 4 together. This is going to depend on how big you want your flower. So I want my flower to be kind of small, so I'm going to just do 3 together, and I did that for these, okay? And you can tell because I've got, this is the first one, this is the second one, and this is the third one, okay? Now, if you want to do 4, then your flowers will just be a little bit bigger, okay? So when I say double crochet 3 or 4 together, this is what I mean. You're going to begin like you're going to do a double crochet by yarning over and pulling up a loop. So now you have 3 loops on your hook, and you pull through the first 2. And if you would normally finish that, you'd pull through those last 2, right? But what we're going to do is we're going to yarn over, and we're going to do that same process again. We pull up a loop, pull through 2, and now we have 3 loops on our hook. We're going to just ignore that, and we're going to yarn over, pull up a loop, okay, pull through 2, and now we have 4 loops on our hook. Now if you did this a 4th time, you would have 5, okay? But since I'm just going to do 3, I'm going to pull through like this, and then I'm going to chain 2. 1, 2, okay? So the first chain kind of closes that off, and the second one is a chain right in between there. Next, I'm going to do the same thing in the V stitch of each one, okay, in that chain 1 space in between the V. So I'm going to double crochet 3 together at this point. So I'm yarning up and pulling through those first 2 loops, okay? Then I'm going to ignore that and make another double crochet, then ignore that last one. I'm going to make my 3rd double crochet, all right? And I'm going to pull through all 4 like that, and I'm going to chain 2, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do that in between the chain space of all of these V stitches until we get to the very end. And when we are there, we are going to go back to this white, which if you left it attached should be right there waiting for you, okay, so that you can pick it back up and you can start your single crochet rows in between your flower rows, okay? All right, so I will meet you back once I've done this in every single leaf, okay? I'll see you then. All right, guys, so as you can see, I'm at the end of this row, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up this white again. And like I said, since I'm going to be doing a single crochet all around the edges, this white is going to be covered up, so it's not going to look wrong or anything like that. Now I've already snipped off my tail for the pink, just so that I could finish this up a little bit quicker for you guys. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hook in there, okay, right in that last stitch, okay, and I'm going to pick up that white right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make 1 single crochet right there. Now what I can do is I can either weave this in or I can tie it in a knot around that. I'm not quite certain exactly what I'm going to do, but whatever you do, what I would suggest is if you tie it in a knot, then go ahead and tie it in a knot, and then you can hide it behind these double crochets where your flower is, okay? So now the next thing that we need to do is we need to convert the top of this right here into the right amount of single crochets so we can make that row right in between here, and it's actually 2 rows of single crochet. So in order to do that, what we're going to do, so we're going to chain 1 and turn, okay, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify that chain 2 space right here, okay? So what you're going to need to do is put your hook underneath here and pull up a loop, okay? And single crochet 1, and then single crochet a second time right in that chain 2 space. And then in the next stitch right here at the very top of your flower, you're going to put your hook in and you're going to single crochet 1. So that's our first 3 stitches. Now we're going to go underneath this chain 2 space again. We're going to single crochet 1, okay, single crochet 2, and then we're going to find that stitch that's on the very top of our flower, and we're going to single crochet 1 more time. So that way we're making 3 stitches for every flower, okay? And you know, again, the stitch multiple is a multiple of 3 plus 2. So we're getting back to our original 3 multiples by doing this, okay? So once you are done with this, I'll show you how to finish off this row, and then you just repeat that over and over until it reaches the length that you'd like. All right, so I am going to meet you once I've gotten to the end of this row. See you there. All right, guys, so I am at the last stitch, and I forgot to tell you that you're going to need to put one more single crochet in this last stitch right here. We're going to find the top of this chain 2 that we made, and we're going to put our hook underneath there, and we're going to pull up, and we are going to make that a single crochet. All right, so now what you're going to do is you are going to, my heart almost came off. Okay, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and now we are going to make that second row of single crochets until we reach the end, and then we're just going to be repeating rows 2 through 6 over and over and over. Okay, so what 2 through 6 does is we're going to make that the second row, right? Then we're going to make the leaves, and then we're going to make the flowers, and then we're going to put that next row right on top of the flowers, and we're just going to keep going on and on and on until it reaches the total height that we want it. Now again, you can use as many as you like in between each row, as long as it's a multiple of 2, if you want to keep picking up that white yarn. And it can be any color you want. It doesn't have to be white. White's just the color that I've decided to use for mine. Okay, so you can pick your own yarn. Okay, when you're doing that, just know that if you want to make it 3 or something like that, that is absolutely okay. Just know that you're going to have to tie off the white yarn every time you go back through it. Okay, so that's just the only reason why we would do that in a multiple of 2, is just to make it easier so that there aren't as many of these places where we need to make ties. Okay, and that's the only reason. Okay. All right, I hope you have enjoyed this tutorial. I have a whole lot of tutorials on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching this to the end. I just want to remind you guys that if you have not seen my giveaway that's going on right now, you might want to check it out and enter to win. Always have giveaways going on the channel. I also have a whole lot of yarn content, yarn unboxing, mystery boxes, yarn hauls, and a little bit of other things just to add some flavor. So enjoy. I would love it if you'd like to subscribe. If you'd like to give this a like, that would mean a lot to me. And comment below and tell me if there's anything you'd like for me to show you guys how to make. I read every single comment. All right, bye-bye. I will see you in another video.